This is Hannibal here from the Hannibal TV.com with the daily wrestling news update. Before I get into that, I was checking out the arena in Ottawa with Jack Kilby today, where Great North Wrestling's 15th anniversary event is coming up May 6th. We also checked out another arena that the second event under the Jack Kilby Executive Vice President regime might take place this summer, more likely than not. More information on that right here on the Hannibal TV. So subscribe if you're not subscribed so you don't miss any of our updates about the best known professional wrestling federation in Canada, Great North Wrestling. Dave Meltzer is reporting that AEW's Forbidden Door pay-per-view in Toronto has passed the $1 million Canadian mark. So there is a reason for that, not just good ticket sales, but tickets start for the crappy seats at $135, and the most expensive seats were like $3,500 around. I'm sorry. Those prices are crazy. Good for them that people are paying that. But it's funny that wrestlers today are so entitled, and we have people like Rhea Ripley that don't want to sign autographs, but ticket prices are so expensive. You have fans paying thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars for tickets, and wrestlers don't even think they owe the fans an autograph. It's crazy the way wrestling is these days. Steve Austin did an interview and said he did no in-ring training at all prior to his match with Kevin Owens. And he said for that reason, he probably potatoed him a ton of times during the match. But Kevin never gave him a receipt. Surprise, surprise, because he's a coward. That's not what Steve Austin said, but that's probably the truth of the matter. But yeah, that just goes to show you, how The Rock's excuse for not being at WrestleMania was the training. We all know how hard Rock trains. I actually believe that The Rock trains harder than Steve Austin, to be perfectly honest, and I'm a fan of both. But from following both of them, I would say that The Rock trains harder. And Austin, from what I saw of the match, did a fine enough match. So I don't know if I buy that excuse. NXT did its lowest rating since December, 0.12. Shawn Michaels says there's no update really on the status of NXT Europe, other than they're hoping to maybe get it going by the end of 2023. Speaking of The Rock, The Rat published a report that he apparently, quote unquote, systematically crippled the Black Adams and Shazam franchises. I hate superhero movies, so I really couldn't tell you. As much of a fan of The Rock as I am, I could not say. The last superhero movie I sat through was the first, I think it was Guardians of the Galaxy with Batista, who, by the way, is not going to be at WrestleMania this year, even though it's called WrestleMania Goes Hollywood. Steve Austin apparently is not. They haven't talked to him from the last interview I heard when he was asked about that, and The Rock isn't. So we got pretty much Roman Reigns against Cody Rhodes to look forward to over those two nights. Apparently, Michael Landsberg said CM Punk tried to get him fired when he was with UFC because Michael had asked him, have you ever been punched in the face for real? And Punk had one of his famous hissy fits, and apparently there was a huge uproar over it, and Landsberg ended up talking to Dana White, and Dana White didn't really care. It's funny. Oh, by the way, apparently also in AEW Canadian news, originally there was going to be a Dynamite taping in Saskatoon and a Rampage taping in Regina on the Friday. But now it looks like this is in early July. I don't have the date in front of me, sorry. But in Saskatoon, it's now going to be, it looks like a Dynamite and Rampage combined show. And Saturday of that week is going to be a TV taping in Regina. So there's rumors that there's going to be an AEW Collision TV show starting. There's a good sign that perhaps by July it's going to happen, because then the following Saturday, they're at the Calgary Saddle Dome on a Saturday. Why would you go to an 18,000 seat arena for a house show? It makes no sense. And by the way, for their house show in Troy, Ohio, the other week, it wasn't really a house show because they taped matches for Dark on it. So it wasn't truly a house show. But it had a good crowd. Good day to you, Victor from San Diego. It's starting to warm up here. I had good workouts today. And good to be back involved with events. I think there's a lot of interest in the return of Great North Wrestling. Guys like Kevin Sullivan, James Storm, speaking of AEW, Jeremy Prophet and Jessica Black, who had the very first AEW match in Canada. It was a mixed tag. They're going to be on the show. Vance Nevada, Canadian wrestling legend who's written many books about wrestling in Canada. Wes Briscoe, former Canadian champion, second generation superstar, and Ben Hammond from Russo's Brand and the Greek God. So there's going to be a lot of good talent there. And I think the fans are really going to enjoy it. Of course, James Storm, a former TNA champion, before it took a massive nosedive, I think. Oh, by the way, Alicia Atoot, who has announced for Great North Wrestling before, asked for her release for MLW and was apparently granted her release. And I don't blame her for wanting to get out of there. Victor, yeah, people are excited about Great North Wrestling, and I think we're going to have a very successful return. But on that note, I wish everybody a great night. I'm actually, tonight, I'm going to have one more meal, and then I am going to start a 3-day fast. I am not going to eat anything for 3 days. I'm going to purify my body and also condition myself mentally a little bit, but detoxify everything. I did this once before, like 2.5 years ago, but the difference was I was still smoking weed back then, and the weed helped me get through the fast. So I'm only going to publicly say that I'm doing this fast starting after my last meal tonight. So I honor it, because it's not easy, but it's very good for the body to give your organs a break. See you later, Victor.
Thank you for watching the Hannibal TV. Please like this video if you enjoyed it, and click the subscribe button to not